This Week in the 90s podcast.
All right, welcome to episode 3 of This Week in the 90s podcast. I'm Chris Brockman.
I'm Sarah Tiana.
Hey, good to see you.
Good to see you.
It's been a while.
God, I know, since we did not see each other.
What have you been up to?
What did we do today? I don't even remember what we did today.
We walked to get dinner. That was great.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I took the dog for a walk.
Yes, you took the dog for a walk.
That was really about it. We watched some golf.
We watched golf. We played some cribbage.
You got your butt kicked at cribbage.
I did. I lost $40 to you. And the baby took 3 long naps.
How amazing is that?
I know. It's so great.
Gosh, I wish I was
He's
a baby.
asleep right now.
He's asleep right now.
Yeah.
It's like,
He's like
yeah.
Fast asleep.
Yeah, we're taping this in the evening, and it's amazing. He's asleep. I'm sure we just jinxed it, because last time we recorded, episode 2 got kind of interrupted a few times, which, through the magic of editing, you did not see or hear. But, yes, he woke up a bunch of times. But, okay, episode 3. You excited?
I'm excited.
All right, it's my turn. I'm going to follow, I think, your lead from last time.
Yeah, you are.
And try not to, just kind of touch on everything. I'm going to focus on a couple of things.
Great.
A couple of things. There was a massive news story that happened during my week. So episode 3, quick recap. This Week in the 90s podcast, we take the week that we're living right now, and we look back through a year in the 90s of everything that happened during that week.
Right.
So the first 2 weeks was August 2nd through the 8th.
Mm-hmm.
I did that one, and then you looked at the 9th through the 15th. So episode 3 now, we're looking at the 16th to the 22nd of August.
Okay.
1998.
Oh, 98.
1998. Now, just
August.
quickly, where were you 3rd week of August, 1998?
3rd week of August, 1998, I would have been working at Six Flags over Georgia.
Wow. So where is that in location to where you grew up?
It's on the east side of it. No, it's on the west side of Atlanta.
Memorable times.
I just don't remember direction, but it's like
That was a long time ago.
it's close to Douglasville. I was living over there at that time. I would have been performing in a show called Dexter's Laboratory, based on the cartoon, because at the time
Based on the cartoon. What cartoon was
Dexter's Laboratory.
that? That was a real cartoon?
Yeah.
Like what? Like an adult cartoon? Because
No.
that sounds like...
It was a kid cartoon,
It
but
sounds
it
kind of
was,
scary, like the TV show Dexter.
well, I performed in the kids shows at Six Flags, and it was a great job for college. So at the time, I was at Georgia State, going to college in Atlanta, and so I was working at Six Flags, and so I was doing kids shows every year. In '96, I did the Bugs Bunny World Games. In '97, I did What's Up Rock, and in '98, I did Dexter's Laboratory. And it was a great job for college because you only worked on the weekends during the school year.
Okay.
And then in the summer, you worked 6 days a week.
Right.
But we got paid salary, so we got paid the same no matter what time
okay.
of
So you
year.
got paid throughout the year.
Yeah.
So you were in college?
Yes.
Okay, so you would have been going into your junior year where?
Going into my junior year at Georgia State.
So you went to Georgia for your first 2 years, and then you transferred to Georgia State?
Georgia for the first year, then Georgia State
Georgia
for
for
the
one.
rest of the
Okay,
time.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this 3rd week of August, 98, I was getting ready to be a freshman at Syracuse.
That's so crazy.
Getting ready to be a
I'm
freshman.
so far ahead of you.
I
We're the same age, but I was just in college
That's so
earlier.
weird. I don't even remember what my summer job was in 1998, to be honest. I feel
You remember everything.
I know. I was trying to think about this
I
actually
know.
because in '97 I worked at the amusement park for a whopping $4.75 an hour, and I feel like
Which amusement park was
the
that?
Funtown USA in South Maine.
It sounds so made up. Funtown USA sounds like a theme park in a movie.
But let me tell you what, it was not fun. It was terrible. It was the
But
worst.
you did the games, right?
I did the games, and I would legit tell people, you are not going to win this game. I have been here all summer, and no one has shot the arrow through the star perfectly, okay? No one has taken the little BB and shot out the guy. Like,
And then people just did
and people were like, no, I'm going to do it. This is I'm good at this.
But absolutely thought you were probably going to do that yourself.
I probably thought I could do it. I mean, I did it enough where I was like, I can do this. This is easy. Like, I would
Did you ever do it?
Can't recall.
That
Probably
means
not.
no.
I think on the rainy days we would just do it because they kept us there for a few hours when it
Right.
was raining before sending us home. And so, the basketball, the rims are all bent and the balls are overinflated, so you're never going to make the shot or anything. Or, the balloons, like, you're never going to do it. So I would tell people, you're not going to win.
Not
And-
a fun town.
And they would be like, no, I'm going to win.
Mm-hmm.
And they did not win. But that was 1997. This is 1998. And I don't remember what I did for a summer job back then when I'm getting ready for my freshman year of college. However, massive news story. So we have three big things. This is what I'm going to hit on. Right here. I'm going to hit on this massive news story that happened during 1998 that probably still affects us today.
Okay.
There was a huge sports story going on that year, the summer of 98, which you might recall. Great ESPN 30 for 30 that we watched earlier this year.
Oh, yeah.
And 1998 was a huge movie year. Huge movie year. There were some great movies in 1998. And one of those massive hits, still a great movie today with one of our all-time great actors, was the number one movie in America the third week of August, 1998. So which would you like me to start with?
Oh, man. Decisions? Let's start with the news story.
Let's start with the news story. All right. Do you remember who was president in 1998?
98. Was Clinton president?
1998 was William Jefferson Clinton from the great state of Arkansas. Do you remember what was going on at that time?
Oh, was this
Do
the
you
Lewinsky
remember? So
scandal?
yes, so on
Oh.
August 17th, 1998, Bill Clinton admitted in taped testimony that he had an improper physical relationship with the White House intern Monica Lewinsky, who shares their birthday with
You.
me.
Okay, great.
July 23rd. So that same day, he admitted before the nation, he went on to address the nation after this testimony was leaked to the public, that he misled people about the relationship. So he is the first sitting president on this date, August 17th, 1998, the first sitting president to testify before the Office of the Independent Counsel as the subject of a grand jury investigation. Now, if you remember all of this testimony came as a result of a 4-year investigation into Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton after their alleged involvement in several scandals.
Oh, the white one. That was that white
Accusations of sexual harassment, illegal real estate deals, the Whitewater, suspended cronyism involving the firing of White House travel agency personnel, Ken Starr,
Oh, yeah.
who got into a whole heap of trouble later on as the president of Baylor. But he was the independent prosecutor. He, during this 4-year investigation, uncovered this affair between Bill Clinton and Monica Lewinsky. And remember, before, when he was questioned about the affair, he said that he did not have sexual relations with that woman. That was the famous quote. So Starr, because of this, and because of what he learned during his investigation, decided to charge Bill Clinton with perjury and obstruction of justice,
Yeah.
which led to his testimony on August 17th, in which he admitted that he had an improper physical relationship with Monica Lewinsky. After the testifying was over, he then addressed the nation live on television, gave his side of the story. He admitted to all of it, said that he regretted misleading his wife and the American people when he denied the affair earlier. That's when he said that famous quote. Insisted that he had given legally accurate answers in his testimony, and in no time had he asked anyone to lie, hide, or destroy evidence or take unlawful action. The damage, of course, was already done. Revelations about all of this sparked a battle in Congress about whether or not to impeach Bill Clinton. The Democrats were like, hey, look, this isn't that big of a deal, JFK did way worse.
Yeah.
Let's just censure him. The Republicans were like, look, man, this was their moment, right?
Of course.
So they called loudly for impeachment, claiming Bill Clinton was unfit to lead the country. And later on this year, the House voted to impeach the president. But after a 5-week trial, Bill Clinton was acquitted.
Mhm.
Kind of what we had happen earlier this year. Donald
Yeah.
Trump was impeached but the Senate voted to acquit him. So he is a sitting impeached president, just like Bill Clinton was back in 1998. Public polls at the time revealed that while many people disapproved of the extramarital affair, which, as we famously know, took place in the Oval Office, in his seat, at the Resolute desk. I think there might have been cigars involved and the blue dress and all of that. Most did not consider it an action worthy of impeachment or resignation.
But like,
so all of this was going on during the summer of '98.
It's not illegal to cheat on your wife. It's illegal to lie about it under oath.
Yes. Yeah. If you're the president of the United States, yes, it's not illegal to cheat on your wife.
No.
But if you are asked about it while you're under oath and you lie, that's a crime. That's perjury.
What would you do in that situation?
If I was the president of the United States?
Yeah, and then you had an affair, and they asked you about that. When you are testifying about something completely different.
Well, no, he was testifying. Well, they were investigating all of alleged illegal activities, and during the course of this 4-year investigation, Ken Starr came across that, hey, Bill Clinton probably had an affair with this intern.
But that's not illegal, so why ask?
You're looking for anything to take this guy down, right?
I mean, it's just immoral. So you're looking for another blemish on his record.
And you're the president of the United States. You're supposed to be above this type of behavior.
Yeah.
So.
But what would you do?
What would I do?
Yeah.
I'd probably lie about it like Bill Clinton did. I mean,
I know I would.
But I think at that point, don't you kind of think that, I don't know, do you think him and Hillary kind of had a agreement about
Absolutely.
What Bill was able to do kind of on the side? There were rumors about alleged affairs before he was even president, when he was governor of Arkansas.
She made him president of, there is no Bill Clinton without Hillary.
Yeah, that's probably true.
He needed her just as much as she needed him.
Yeah, I think they needed each other. They just were like, look, maybe they were in love in the beginning. I got to assume that they are.
Sure. And
after a certain point of time, they're like, look, we're become a massive power couple, and we can really,
it happens
in their mind, do some good. So they kind of rose through the ranks with each other.
I think people in America might be surprised to learn how often there's an understanding amongst couples.
Yeah, I think
hey, we are together for the kids and we love each other, but I'm not going to be mad at you if you screw around. Just don't let it become.
Don't let it be a thing. Don't let it get out. Don't embarrass me.
Don't embarrass me.
Yeah.
That's I mean, I'm not saying that happens with people like me and you. I'm just saying that
right.
Amongst celebrities
and people
and athletes.
Athletes, celebrities, politicians. If you're in a great position of power, I just think it kind of comes with the territory, and everyone is kind of in agreement that it's fine. Just don't embarrass me. Just don't let it get out.
Don't bring it home.
Don't bring it home. Don't let some shit get on a blue dress in the Oval Office with an intern. Don't embarrass me.
Yeah.
And this was really embarrassing for everyone involved, and so that's why I think, the GOP kind of took a hard stand of this is what we never do this, blah, blah, blah.
I just feel the worst for Monica Lewinsky.
I do.
Just like how I feel the worst for Melania Trump.
Well, this is not what Melania signed up for
exactly.
Sure.
I'm just man, this poor lady, she's a gorgeous supermodel. She was not here to be some
she thought she was just marrying some cool rich guy from America who was on TV, and
then he became president, and then everybody hates her too, and it's oh man, this poor lady, she's the sweetest lady. But
so what do you remember about all of this? Were you paying attention to it? Is it something that kind of registered with you?
I remember it. I remember just thinking, why would Bill Clinton have sex with her? I just remember thinking You thought
that Monica Lewinsky was kind of beneath Bill Clinton, not to just kind of put it bluntly.
No, it wasn't that. It just
I mean, JFK had sex with Marilyn Monroe.
Yeah, it's not like I thought she was ugly or anything.
No, of course not. But
I'm just saying
a White House intern. Come on, you got to be better than that.
It was more why would you have sex with this old dude?
Oh, so her why? Well, because he's the president.
Of course, yes, I understand that, but I just remember thinking she's she looked like Monica from Friends. You know what I mean?
Well, she had the haircut for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, that was what was going on back then.
Yeah. So it was just like, oh, I mean, I thought Bill Clinton was kind of cool and like.
Yeah. He played the saxophone. He was a jogger. He ate at McDonald's. Like Phil Hartman did him on SNL, and it was cool. Bill Clinton was certainly probably the coolest president up to that point.
Up to that point.
Yeah, up to that
for
point.
a while.
For
Since
sure.
JFK, probably.
For sure.
Yeah.
I mean, no one thought Nixon and Gerald Ford were cool, or Ronald Reagan, for sure.
Or George Senior.
Oh, yeah, George Senior. Yeah, any of those guys.
Like,
I mean, they're just old white guys. Bill Clinton, was on Arsenio.
Yeah.
That was super cool back then, and he was at the Final Four rooting for Arkansas. College,
Yeah, I just remember, thinking, I don't know, she just seems so much younger than him. That's the one thing that I really remember.
Just think about being in your early 20s and the president comes on to you. Well, I mean,
it's
I got to imagine it's hard to say no, even if you know that it's not the right move.
For sure. I mean, I think also when you are young and naive and this super powerful old dude, I wouldn't even know how to say no, it's not to say I wouldn't know how and assert myself. I'm just saying that I wouldn't even know I don't know if I would be strong enough. It's what the Christmas movie that I always make, Love Actually,
Love Actually, right.
Where Billy Bob Thornton is the president of the United States.
Oh,
and
right.
He leaned,
Yeah.
She's like, he was the president and I don't know. And she's just like, what am I supposed to do?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
I also got to imagine that it was probably super fun for her to sneak around with the most powerful man in the world. And she probably, with an older guy, I can't really tell you who it is. Oh, is it the president? And she's like,
Right.
I got to imagine it was super fun and thrilling and exciting and adventurous for her as well. Whereas maybe Bill Clinton was just another day in the office for him.
Or he just was abusing his own power and making her feel like this was something that was part of her job.
Maybe.
And I just feel more sorry for her. I feel like it's damaged her career. I think it's damaged her, the things that she could have done in politics and her hopes and dreams. And now she's has this big scar on her, resume. And it's a real bummer, he completely ruined her career.
Maybe ruined her life in a weird way, because it's something she always has to. It's almost like a scarlet letter she has to carry around. It's you were the guy that effed the president and the intern during this whole big. I mean, this was kind of the first big 20th century presidential scandal where it was
in our generation
for us for sure, because it wasn't a thing back then. Reporters kept everything hush hush behind the scenes. Reporters kept that stuff private. They protected people.
Mm-hmm.
They protected the presidents that they liked. Whereas this, especially you see the news now, but you're trying to get a story. You're trying to sell papers. You're trying to get clicks. This was at the beginning of the internet. Matt Drudge was the guy that broke this whole thing. The Drudge Report was a huge, massive website that people went to every single day for political news or news that was going on in the country and around the world. And this drove ratings. And this was kind of the beginning of that TMZ era, so to speak. And
the beginning of the end. Clickbait.
Yeah, I mean, it's,
Poor Monica.
for better or worse.
Yeah.
I mean, it's definitely not for better. It's just I think it kind of was the evolution of news and anyway.
All right, yeah.
But, so that was the huge news story that was going on during the time. Now, massive, we want to go sports or movies here next? Sports or movies?
Sports.
Up to you, sports, okay. 1998, we're going to talk baseball because summer of 98 was one of the greatest times in my life as a baseball fan. Something went on that didn't even involve any team that I liked, but involved a couple players I liked, especially back then. And it was Mark McGwire versus Sammy Sosa. It was the subject of an amazing 30 for 30 this summer on ESPN. Sammy Sosa and Mark McGwire were involved in the great home run chase of 1998, trying to take down Roger Maris. They both eventually would pass Roger Maris. Mark McGwire hit 70 home runs in the 1998 season. Sammy Sosa hit 66. It was incredible. It saved the sport.
Mm-hmm.
It brought back millions and millions of baseball fans, myself included. I remember exactly where I was sitting when Mark McGwire hit home run number 60,
Where were you sitting?
62. I was sitting in the lounge on the third floor of Brewster Hall at Syracuse University.
Well, when he broke Roger Maris.
When he broke Roger Maris. When he hit number 62. When he hit number 61, I was walking to the dining hall because we had a Labor Day storm in Syracuse. There was like a tornado that kind of tore up campus, and our dining hall in our Brewster Bowen complex was closed down. This was early September, and we had to eat at another one, and we had to walk to it, and he hit 61 while we were walking over there. And then he hit 62 the next day. But during this week, August 16th to the 22nd, McGwire and Sosa both had good weeks. Mark McGwire hit 5 home runs.
Wow.
He had 10 hits during the week. 5 of them were home runs. He hit numbers 48 to 52. It was a memorable game on the 19th. They played against the Cubs. So McGwire and Sosa went head to head. McGwire had 2 home runs. Sosa had 1. The game on the 19th was awesome. So Sammy Sosa hit a home run in the 5th inning to put the Cubs up 6-2. In the 8th, after the Cardinals scored a couple of runs to make it 6-5, McGwire hit a home run to tie the game at 6. Then in the 10th inning, it went to extras. McGwire hit what proved to be the game winner, his 50th of the year.
Oh, 50th. I was like, what number was he at?
Yeah, Sosa hit in the bottom of the 10th, but he grounded out. So McGwire hit his 50th, his 49th and 50th in that game. And Sammy Sosa also homered in the game. It was great. Mark McGwire, his previous high was 49 home runs, which he did in his rookie year of 1987. That was the rookie home run record for 22 years. Pete Alonso broke it last year with the Mets.
That was when he played with the A's?
That was when he played for the A's. He was skinny back then, him and Jose Canseco. Yeah, Sammy Sosa, he hit 3 during the week to give him 49 at the end of the week. But that went on during this week, the great home run chase of 1998.
Steroids save baseball.
Yeah, so let's talk about that since you bring up steroids, and we watched a 30 for 30 about it, and Mark McGwire has since admitted to using steroids during that time. The big thing that came out during that summer was the bottle of Andro that was found in his locker.
Which was not illegal.
Not illegal. I knew kids that I played against in high school who took it.
But at the time, steroids were not illegal in baseball.
Steroids were not illegal in baseball.
So for there to be this kind of blemish on his record when there was no rule or set in place at the time for him or anybody for that matter for it to be against it. If you are using it when it's up, when baseball's come down and said hey, you can't do this anymore, and then you're still using it, then I understand a punishment. But when it's not illegal, what's the ramification? It's my argument. It's like you always hear me argue about HGH. When Andy Pettit, I think, got in trouble for using HGH.
Yeah, he said he did it one time to help him recover from an injury.
HGH is already in your body.
Right.
So if you are putting something into your body that you already possess, you're just putting more of it in there to help you recover.
Right.
You're not becoming someone that you're not. I understand why steroids got banned.
Mm-hmm.
I understand why people don't use them now, and I don't think that you should use them now since it's a rule. I wouldn't care if people did, but I understand why it's not.
I wouldn't care either, but
to me,
it's illegal, it's illegal.
To me, HGH is something that you already have. So for you to go back to the person that you already are, as opposed to bulking up and becoming someone that you're not, that's, to me.
So you think that did McGwire and Sosa become people they were not?
Yeah. I think they
did.
I think in a way they did, but I don't think that what they did was wrong because they were not told to not do that.
Right. It was not illegal in terms of Major League Baseball. It was illegal when you think about the Olympics and other
for
sports,
sure. There was testing and there were regulations and there were reforms and there were
But in Major
rules.
League Baseball and the scope of Major League Baseball at the time, it was not illegal to take any of these things, and they took it to recover from injuries and.
But I have that shirt that Trevor Bauer sells that says "Steroids Save Baseball." And
Well, it totally
that's
did.
what it means.
Totally
it means like everybody was still mad at baseball because of the strike in '96. You know, so like
No doubt about it.
So for this home run race, I remember like coming back to baseball and being so excited,
Me too.
and
It was
rejuvenated, and then like the next year, I started working for the Braves after I had left Six Flags.
Oh.
I started working for the Braves, and at Turner Field at that time, there was this section called the Coca-Cola section. It was like way up high in the corner or whatever, in the outfield. And if someone hit a home run ball up there and you caught it, you won $1 million. And so when Sammy Sosa and Mark McGwire came to town, that place was packed. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
And everyone was trying to catch a ball.
That's amazing.
It was amazing. Yeah, it was so fun.
I mean,
so
look.
cool.
I mean, there was a Nike commercial back in the day with the two pitchers on the break. Chicks did the long ball.
Oh yeah.
Chicks dig it, man. It was
That was
it pushes
Schmaltz and Maddox.
Yeah,
No, Glavine and
and
Maddox.
those guys. Like, it drives the highlights on SportsCenter.
Yeah.
It gets the clicks. It's what everyone wants to see. People want to see home runs. Just look at Major League Baseball right now.
Well, we want to
It's-
see the home
It's
runs.
nothing but home runs and strikeouts. And back then, nobody was watching baseball because everyone was still pissed off from the strike 4 years earlier.
Yeah.
And these two guys took a run at the most, one of the most unbreakable records in sports.
Mm-hmm.
And they both took it down, and they both went head to head, and they were playing against each other. The Cardinals were playing the Cubs when McGwire hit number 62.
I mean,
It was
you can't
amazing.
Script it better.
You couldn't have scripted
And
anything
those two guys were
like this.
so likable.
So likable. And they
So
embraced
kind.
each other. And as you saw in the 30 for 30, Mark McGwire said he didn't know Sammy Sosa, but they got to know each other throughout the course of this because they played against each other a lot. They were doing all the interviews, all the media, and it was awesome.
It was
And if they could go back and do it all over again, I'm sure they both would do the exact same thing. Sammy Sosa has not admitted that he's done anything
right.
sketchy or illegal.
But he's still not invited back to Cubs Stadium.
And
right?
he's not invited back to Wrigley Field because he won't admit
That he corked his bat.
if he did anything. I mean, the cork bat thing was years later, but he won't admit that he took performance enhancing drugs. And I think it was kind of obvious that he did. Mark McGwire has, and he has since returned to baseball. He's been a hitting coach for several teams. And look, these guys deserve to be in the Hall of Fame. They saved the game. They both have the numbers.
Right.
They have the numbers worthy, okay? McGwire has almost 600 home runs. Sammy Sosa has over 600 home runs.
Of course, they're Hall of Famers. It's so obnoxious.
It's so obnoxious.
But also, like, I don't understand why Sammy has to admit anything. Because if it's not illegal at the time,
it wasn't
for you to be
illegal
doing what you're doing,
So
you don't owe that explanation to anyone.
you don't think he owes it to Cubs fans?
No.
Or the team or ownership?
No, fuck them. Because I can't believe that they sit around and act like he's not welcome back at the stadium
Right.
because somehow what they believe is a lie, is like that's what's tarnishing. Like, that is so obnoxious. Like, he literally put their franchise back on the map. Like, nobody cared about the Cubs. They were so losing until 10 years ago when they finally won the World Series.
They won the World Series a few years ago.
Oh, whatever. It feels like ages ago
Yeah,
because
that's
they're like in the zeitgeist of like this losing team. You know
yeah, no,
what I mean?
they're always the lovable losers.
Yeah, everybody loves them.
Yes,
They have all
everyone
these
loves
fans.
the Cubs because they never win.
Yeah,
And they all love Harry Carey and Bill Murray and all the famous Cubs fans.
But they should love Sammy Sosa.
They should love Sammy Sosa 100%.
Yeah, it's so frustrating.
I mean, those guys should have statues outside of Cooperstown. There should be a Sammy Sosa statue outside of Wrigley Field and a Mark McGwire one at Busch Stadium. It's it's sad, and hopefully someday those guys get their due. But
I think, my whole thing about baseball is that, like, the reason that it's not as popular as other sports is because it doesn't have a villain. And I think that the people try to make villains out of the wrong people. People tried to make villains out of Sosa and McGwire, or like Barry Bonds, and saying like, oh, he's just like, well, Barry Bonds I kind of understand. But like, these quote unquote steroid users, like these bad guys, you know what I mean? And it's like, no, villains are the Yankees or the Astros right now, or A-Rod. He was a great villain for baseball, and or my favorite relief pitcher of all time, John Rocker.
Yeah, John Rocker was a great villain back then.
great villain.
Yeah,
He
yeah,
was our
totally.
wild thing.
Yeah.
And so like you have to have those kinds of people, but I did not think that McGwire and Sosa were those people.
So you're cool with them. You don't hold any
Zero.
any grudge or
I
anything
think if
against
the
those
cork
guys.
bat thing was real, that I would hold something against, and I've definitely made tons of jokes about Sosa and the corked bat. Do I think he was doing it during the home run race? No. I think he was trying to get something back with the cork bat 2 years later.
Yeah, because he'd lost a little bit.
Yeah, he lost a little bit, and I think he was trying to make another run with McGwire not in the mix as much, and maybe here I can maybe break that record trying a little too hard,
So that was the week of the 16th to the 22nd.
Wow, that's so crazy.
1998, yeah, huge week. So McGwire hits home runs 48 to 52. He'd go on to hit 18 more. Finished the year with 70. Sammy Sosa went to 49, and he finished the year with 66. Amazing. One other thing in sports that was super funny that I came across, one of our friends we've gotten to know recently, Ryan Leaf. You remember him as the second overall pick in the 1998 NFL Draft.
Oh, was it 98?
Yeah, first overall pick that year. You may have heard of him, a guy named Peyton Manning, no big deal.
I remember Peyton because I was at Georgia. We would play him, at Tennessee, And it was weird because, I've always hated Florida. I never really hated Tennessee. Tennessee was definitely, a rival, but to me, because...
It didn't matter.
Because Peyton played there... Well, when Peyton played there, it kind of mattered.
Yeah, but they didn't win a national championship or anything.
But he was just, this...
Well, of course, he was great. Yeah, he was
but
great.
I still, didn't hate them because,
Oh, I tell you what,
And I think I went to school with Hines Ward. I think Bobo was our quarterback when I went to school.
Didn't love Peyton Manning as a professional because he played against... a team that kind of went up against the Patriots year in, year out. But in college, I loved Peyton Manning. I played quarterback in high school, and I wrote Peyton Manning a letter one year while I was in high school.
Oh my God, what did it say?
I wrote him while he was at Tennessee. And it was like, hey, my name.
I think your forehead is the greatest. It's just like mine.
Those helmets are tight. And if it presses up against, this was the late 90s. Helmet technology, not great. So you get that massive indent in your forehead.
Oh, yeah.
So anyway, I wrote Peyton, hey, I play quarterback. I'm in high school. What are some of your favorite plays? What can I do to get better? And I got something back in the mail not too long later. It was this big 8x10 envelope from the University of Tennessee. And it was just an autographed 8x10 to Chris Peyton Manning.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, still have it.
It's
It's at my mom's house. It's framed.
Oh.
Yeah, and it's so I'll, as much as I like to talk crap about Peyton Manning and kind of make fun of him and stuff, but I'll always be like, good guy. Didn't have to.
So wait, what happened with Ryan this week?
Oh, so back then, right now it's not happening currently, but it should be. The NFL preseason should be going on right now. And these two guys, Ryan Leaf and Peyton Manning, were the top 2 picks in the draft that year. They actually faced off in the preseason. Heading into their rookie year. So they both were going to be starters in San Diego and Indianapolis. And they played each other on August 22nd, the last day of my week. And the Chargers steamrolled the Colts that year, 33-3.
Wow.
Ryan Leaf ended up having a great game. He was 15 for 24, 172 yards, set up a touchdown and ran for one. And Peyton Manning struggled in the game, was only 11 for 21 for 123 yards and had 2 interceptions. So it's kind of funny how Ryan kind of had a good game and Peyton really struggled, and we know how their careers
Do you think that Peyton did, influenced, or part of the reason Eli didn't want to go to San Diego was because of how they maybe mishandled Ryan?
Yes, I think it was widely known at the time that San Diego was not a good run organization.
Right.
And despite being maybe the most beautiful city on earth and one of the greatest places to live and visit in the United States, I don't know why anyone wouldn't want to play there, but when you're playing for a team that's just dysfunctional and can't manage their star players, I think when you're such a powerful family, a powerful football family like the Mannings, you can kind of do whatever you want. And so Eli just said, Not happening. Nope.
I remember how hot. Anyway, that's a different year, but like, all right, that's good to know.
Yeah, so that went on this week. Kind of funny. I found this article while I was doing some research. I texted it to Ryan, and he just wrote back preseason Hall of Fame. Great guy, Ryan Leaf.
Great guy.
Certainly knows who he is. Very self-aware. Can have a sense of humor about how his career ended up. But that was funny that also went on during this week. Okay.
I met Ryan. I told you that though. Like, I met him before you met him.
Yeah.
Because I was friends with his brother Jeff.
Right.
Who I did sketch comedy with, and then like Ryan would come to our shows. That was back when he was drinking.
Right.
Now he doesn't drink anymore, and then you became friends with him.
I became friends
and I
with him.
haven't talked to Jeff and now I see Ryan all the time.
In the last couple of years, he would come on our show, the Rich Eisen Show, and I've gotten to know him. We play golf all the time, and hard to miss that guy when you're 6'7".
Oh,
when you're 6'7",
yeah.
250, and you still look like a massive professional athlete. Yes, that's funny that went on. Hold on, let me just get a little one more light here.
Oh. You need light to read off your computer?
Well, I just want it to look good for the folks on YouTube.
Yes. We want all three of you to like the way we look.
Hey, you like my cut-off sleeveless shirt again today?
Yeah.
Someone was like, is he going to wear the sleeveless again? And I'm like, no promises. It's back.
It's your new thing.
It's the summer of no sleeves.
Sleeveless, but the hoodie. Sometimes you usually have the hood up.
Well, usually I have it up, but I don't want to. I mean, you said my face is nice and tan. I mean, I've been off so much. I've been in the sun. My head looks great.
It's very rare for you to have any kind of tan, so you should show it.
I'm super tan. This is the most tan maybe I've ever been.
I know. It's because we go running and you don't wear your sleeves.
I also have a great golf. You can't see it, but my feet are very wet. I have the golfer's tan.
I know what your feet look like. I've seen them.
I mean, maybe the people want to see it.
Nobody wants to see it. Nobody wants to see your feet.
All right. 1998 was a monster year for movies.
Oh.
Monster year for movies. Do you want to hear some of the movies that came out, or do you want to tell you what was number one during this week?
During this week, I want to know what's
All right.
number one.
During this week, the number one movie in its fourth week atop the box office, Steven Spielberg, Tom Hanks, Saving Private Ryan.
Wow, okay.
What's going on right now? Did you see Saving Private Ryan in the theater?
Yes.
Is it the greatest first 20 minutes of a movie maybe you've ever seen? Maybe not greatest, but most thrilling, most intense.
I definitely remember it being, like people warning me that it was like a very intense first 20 minutes. You know, at the time I was in film school, so it was like for sure I'm going to go see like any Steven Spielberg movie that's out. So yes, I remember it being overwhelming. Because the next year, I went to Omaha Beach. Oh, wow. Yeah. So.
Oh, that's incredible.
The August 99, I went to Omaha Beach.
What was that like?
Oh, it's gorgeous. No, it's very pleasant now. There was a lot less fighting.
There's no Nazis and tanks.
Yeah, it was amazing. It's the first sand I ever collected.
Oh, wow.
Because, I collect sand. I don't know if anybody out there knows this, but I collect sand in every country that I go to, and I started with Omaha Beach. So that was the very first collection.
And what number are we up to now? Do you know how many you got?
There's probably 30 or 40.
I threw a bunch away. That's weird.
Yeah. You're like, there's a whole beach right there. Just go get some more if you need sand.
So the number one movie, Saving Private Ryan, in its fourth week atop the box office. Monster hit, one of Tom Hanks's greatest movies.
That he produced. He's not. Is he in it?
Oh yeah, he's the star of the movie. Remember, throughout the whole movie, the kind of running gag is nobody knows what his job is, and so there's a huge bet about going on, and they're trying to save Private Ryan. And you know who Private Ryan is in the movie?
Oh wait.
Also, one of his early movies.
Yeah, was it Jake Gyllenhaal?
Close. Massive Matt Damon. Matt Damon is Private Ryan. And,
yes.
Tom Sizemore, Ed Burns. Actually, the name of the actor escapes me, but he plays Roger Maris in a movie, and he's the sniper in the movie. It's fantastic. It's such a great movie.
Yeah, because sometimes I get Private Ryan and Band of Brothers confused because Tom Hanks also produced Band of Brothers.
Right.
which is another World War II film about.
But that's a miniseries. That's like a
10-part
kind of HBO thing. Yeah. So Saving Private Ryan, of course, talks about World War II and.
Wow. Yeah. So that was his 4th week, huh?
Yeah. This is. They're on a mission to find Private
Just
Ryan.
makes me miss being able to go to the movies.
Barry Pepper is the guy.
Oh, Barry Pepper.
Plays this like that.
Makes me miss going to movies.
Yeah, that's one of those movies. You know, it's on. You know, it's all the time. It's on cable. It's on TNT or whatever. But that movie you had to have experienced in the theater with the surround sound when it came out in 1998. That's where the Dolby 5.1. That's where the here it's like you were there. You feel the bullets.
So when I went in 1999, there are still the rocks and the boat, the thing, I don't know what they're called, but they...
those things that stuck out of the sand? Yeah,
things that stuck out of the sand that were really spiky or whatever.
Yep.
And kids were just, like, jumping off them into the water, you know, like, as a toy. And I was just like,
oh my God,
that's history, you know. But then I'm like, well, the whole point is that, like, now they're free to do that. You know, that was, like, part of the whole mission. And you could still see bullet holes in all the walls, like, in and around the beach in the town.
Wow.
And then there's this new cemetery that they had just built up on the cliff. Like, you can see the cliff that they had to scale. I mean, it is insane, the cliff that they had to scale. They were just sitting ducks, you know?
Right.
And so...
for sure. I mean...
I went there to take a video from my great uncle Lenny, who gave me his camcorder, and he told me how I was supposed to hold it super slow when I'm panning. And so he was on D5 for World War II. So I took videos of the cemetery because he was not able to go. He was, you know, invited, of course, but he was not able to go.
He was there.
You haven't been listening.
Oh, I was listening. I'm looking up.
He was on D5.
I don't know what that means.
Day 5.
Oh, day 5.
So D-Day, and then D1, D2, D2, D3, D4, Day 5. So he was the 5th wave that went in, and you know,
wow.
My Uncle Lenny is like, I don't even remember what he did, and you know, but he's like, he was like 5'5" maybe. He was shorter than me.
Oh wow!
So I can't even imagine him like running off of a boat onto a beach.
Was he in the infantry? Was he a pilot or?
No. He was on a boat, so I'm not really sure what he. I can't remember what he did. My mom's probably going to be upset with me that I don't remember.
I mean, you talk about The Greatest Generation. It's just like that movie is. It's incredible what all those men went through there.
Yeah.
Back then, so that was the number 1 movie. The number 1 song. We'll get to that later, but. Other movies from 1998, like I said, it was a monster year for movies. We'll talk about the Oscars in a second. Titanic.
Why are we going to talk about the Oscars? Were they this week?
No, but I'm just talking about Saving Private Ryan.
Okay.
Saving Private Ryan won 5 Oscars.
Okay.
It won Best Director. Steven Spielberg won for Best Director, won Best Cinematography, Sound, Film Editing, and Sound Effects. But it did not win Best Picture that year.
Oh.
That was kind of my point. Like, that movie was so great, but it did not win Best Picture. The other nominees, Thin Red Line, Life is Beautiful, Elizabeth, and the winner that year, Shakespeare in Love.
Oh, yeah.
What an absolute tragedy.
Wow, Shakespeare in Love was fantastic.
It's not as good as Saving Private Ryan.
Oh my God. If you wake up the baby because you're screaming, I'm going to murder you.
Okay, well, glad that's on tape. I'm just saying.
I don't want him to wake up because you're that passionate about Saving Private Ryan.
Shakespeare in Love? Okay, Saving Private Ryan? Like, get out of here.
Shakespeare in Love is a great movie. I think I've seen that more than Saving Private Ryan. Because it's a lot easier to watch than Saving Private Ryan. There's only so much World War II death that you can handle.
And Tom Hanks lost to Roberto Benigni in Life is Beautiful.
Life is Beautiful is great.
Remember that kook, though? He was, like, on top of the chairs.
Yeah, but that movie was so impressive. Life is Beautiful was a fantastic movie.
All right.
It was also a foreign film, right? Didn't it win Best Foreign Film?
It might have been the first foreign film to win Best Picture, to be honest.
It won Best Picture? I thought Shakespeare in Love won Best Picture.
Sorry, Roberto Benigni won Best Actor, sorry. Okay, I don't want to wait. Let's just move on. Other amazing films from 1998. Titanic started off the year. It was like number one forever.
Titanic?
Well, it came out in December.
Oh, I was going to say, it wasn't
came out,
up for...
It came out December of... And so it won
97.
Best Picture the year for 1998.
Okay.
And Saving Private Ryan was the following year.
Titanic is the only movie I've seen in the theater...
Multiple times?
Multiple times. I think I saw it 6 times in the theater.
I have never seen Titanic opening credits to close credits.
I believe that.
It's one of those things you just catch bits and pieces of throughout.
I'm the same with The Godfather. I've never seen it opening credits to closing credits.
I mean, the Titanic and the Godfather are not even in the same conversation.
I think they absolutely are.
Here's the story of Titanic.
You're absolutely wrong.
There's a boat and it sinks. Great. I know what happened.
Oh, here's the story of The Godfather.
What is the story of the Godfather? What is the story of the Godfather?
There's an old guy.
There's an old
all
guy?
his kids, and they kill everybody that doesn't pay them money.
That's not what happens in The Godfather.
It is what happens in The Godfather.
It's
about the mafia.
You've never seen The Godfather.
It's about the mafia.
All right.
You've never seen Titanic.
Other movies.
It's not about a boat sinking. It's about a relationship.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Between what? James Cameron and the boat? 1998 movies. Titanic. He Got Game. The Truman Show. Armageddon. Saving Private Ryan. Rounders. There's Something About Mary. Good Will Hunting. Rush Hour. The Waterboy. You've Got Mail.
What are those?
Those are all the movies that came out in 1998.
Well, why are you talking about that? We're supposed to talk about 1 week.
I'm just
so now
saying.
any of us that want to do 1998 ever again, you've already blown the wad on all
I'm just
the
telling you
movies
all
that
the
came out
No,
next year.
you can go back and tell us about.
Oh.
I only talked about Saving Private Ryan. Did I talk about any other movie?
It's talked about Titanic.
Well, because it sucks.
You haven't seen the whole thing. You can't say it sucks.
Doesn't matter. I mean, I've seen bits and pieces
Oh,
of
no.
the whole thing.
Well, you can't say it sucks if you haven't seen the story from the beginning to end.
All right. The number one song during my week, of August 16th to the 22nd, was The Boy Is Mine by Brandy and Monica.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. The boy.
Man, Brandy
By the
was
way.
just on the Today Show the
Really?
other day.
For what?
She was new song that came out, and I was like, gosh, she looks exactly the same, just better. Like she's still just like so gorgeous and perfect and talented.
My goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that song, this week, it was in the middle of its 13-week run as number one on the Billboard chart. That was a monster summer song.
I feel like Brandy was like the
1998.
first super young artist girl. You know what I mean? Before
Interesting.
Britney and Christina, like I feel like Brandy was like first.
Yeah, Britney and Christina didn't hit until kind of Christmas 1998.
Oh, okay. See.
Yeah, so Brandy was kind of right before then. And do you know who Brandy went to the prom with?
I've heard this story.
It's actually kind of sad now, but she went to prom with Kobe Bryant.
Oh, right. Oh.
Like, that's how famous Kobe was as a high school basketball player. He took Brandy to the prom. Like, it was amazing. It was
so cool.
It was amazing. Some huge birthdays during this week. Celebrities celebrating their birthday. On August 16th, James Cameron and Madonna both have birthdays.
Fun.
On the 17th, Robert De Niro. The 18th, Robert Redford. The 19th, we talked about him earlier, Bill Clinton. Matthew Perry. On the 20th, Robert Plant.
Uh-huh. From the Who?
Robert Plant from where?
what?
I was actually, before you even said that, I was going to say, if you can name what he is.
He's a singer. He's the lead singer of a band.
For who?
I thought it was The Who.
Close. Led Zeppelin.
Okay.
And January...
But who's the lead singer of The Who?
Roger Daltrey.
Okay. I knew it started with an R.
August 21st, Kim Cattrall and Usain Bolt had the same birthday.
Okay.
Some famous deaths.
Both really fast, just in different ways.
Kim Cattrall, do you know how old she is now? She's
She's got to be 60.
63.
Yeah.
Good for her.
Mannequin.
That's what I was
I
saying.
know.
Good job.
You always get so proud of me when I
Well,
know.
I honestly don't think you know that much about like pop culture and movies.
I just don't remember it. You have this like memory that won't quit. Like you're just really good at memorizing things, and when other people don't remember things, you're shocked. And it's like, well, maybe you should just be impressed that you can remember it, and like, no, not everybody remembers things like you.
All right, so I did write down a question here.
Oh God.
that I'm not sure we can even have a discussion now because you thought Robert Plant was the lead singer of The Who. At their height, who was the most famous Robert who had a birthday this week?
Oh.
Robert De Niro, Robert Redford, Robert Plant.
At their height.
At their height, who was the most famous?
I would say De Niro.
You think so? I mean, I don't have an answer to this question. I don't really have an opinion. I was just wondering, like, yeah, I would guess so.
Led Zeppelin. Yeah.
I mean, Led Zeppelin is arguably the greatest rock and roll band of all time. Robert De Niro, and Robert Redford, both one of the greatest actors of all time. I think maybe Robert Redford? Robert Redford is definitely the most handsome.
What? Oh,
He's
Leonard Skinner was the man
good.
that died in the airplane.
Yeah, like half
not
of
Led Zeppelin.
Not Led Zeppelin. Led Zeppelin, their drummer was an album.
Another L starts. See, at least I know the letter.
And 3 famous deaths all happened on the same day, August 16th. I found this out. August 16th, 1948, Babe Ruth passed away. August 16th, 1977, Elvis passed away. And August 16th, 2018, your best friend, Aretha Franklin, passed away.
Oh, Aretha. Yeah. Wow, that's a crazy day.
Crazy day, August 16th.
August 16th.
I want to say that's all I got. It was a really kind of fun week for 1998.
That was a very fun week. Good job.
Do you mean that?
I mean, you were all over the place. You were not in 1998.
What do you mean? I was totally in 1998.
You just told me that Aretha Franklin died in 2016.
Yeah, but
on August 16th.
Well,
we're not talking about 2016.
All right, so am I bending the rules here?
You're very much bending the rules.
All right.
You're telling me about all the movies that came out in 1998.
But it was in relation to Saving Private Ryan, which was the #1 movie during this week in 1998. Too many tangents?
No, I think...
Do I need to reel it in?
I think it's perfect.
I hate you. All right, that's going to do it. Episode 3, This Week in the 90s podcast.
Listen,
thank you so much.
Please also, if there was something that we missed...
Oh, yeah, please tell us what we missed.
And tell us where you were that week in August 1998, August 16th through 22nd. Was there anything you were doing or anything you remember? Like you were at the Cubs game. You were, watching. Where did you watch Saving Private Ryan? Visit our Facebook page, our Twitter, our Instagram. Feel free to tell us anything. Send us photos of maybe if you have a picture from that week. We'd love to hear it. We'd love to see it. We'll try to find any photos of any of the things we discussed, like where we were in college or me being at Six Flags and Dexter's Laboratory.
Yeah, at Week in the 90s Pod. On all our social media. Yeah, Twitter, Facebook,
and
Instagram,
if you have any questions or if you want to give us any information about any upcoming weeks, we do have an email address. That's weekinthe90spod@gmail.
weekinthe90spod@gmail.com. Email us and we'll get back to you and maybe we'll do a little Q&A one of these weeks coming up.
Yeah, and my apologies for always yelling at Christopher, but...
This is every single day of my life.
Now you have a glimpse of what I'm saying.
Thanks for tuning in. All right, everybody. We had a lot of fun. Hopefully you enjoyed it as well. And we will see you next week.
This Week in the 90s podcast.